Basketball season is upon us. Will Montana State and Eastern Washington defend their tournament titles, or will we crown a new champion? The road to Boise begins now. Welcome to Big Sky Basketball Tip-Off presented by Idaho Central Credit Union. Hello and welcome to Big Sky Tip-Off. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. This episode is all about the Portland State Vikings. Last season, the men dominated at home, posting an 11-2 record. Will home court advantage be a thing this season at Viking Pavilion? Let's bring in head coach Jace Coburn and forward Isaiah Johnson to find out. This offseason, you received a 2-year contract extension. What did that mean to you?
No, it was great. I really appreciate the university, President Cudd, and our athletic department. It meant a lot to have the support of the entire university behind us, and we're going to take it one day at a time and keep moving forward.
Isaiah, you're a fifth-year senior, so you've been around Coach for a few years. How would you describe his coaching style?
Passionate, very passionate. Like, he's always on you, but he always gives you a reason why, and he believes in you. So it's always good to have him feeling down or something. He's always gonna bring us up. He always has energy. So I love it.
Coach, you added Mike Harmon to your staff this summer. What has he brought to your program the last few months?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's come in and made an immediate impact right away. He's done a great job for us, getting to know our team. It's never an easy situation when you come in and you're the new guy, whether you're a coach or a player. He's come in and worked really hard and very appreciative of his effort. He's a bright young star in this coaching profession and very excited to add him to the staff. And I think our players would tell you the same thing.
Isaiah, he said he thinks their players would say the same things about Coach Harmon. What have you learned from him in his short time with the Vikings?
He's been very supportive, and I feel like it's been a smooth transition for him. And I feel like I've known him for a while, and he's always been talking to me on the side, coaching everybody up.
Isaiah, you ranked second on the team last season in scoring, rebounding, and blocks. You ranked first in steals. There's a lot of different areas where you excel, but what would you say is the strongest aspect of your game?
I feel like my motor, just constantly going hard, no matter what the situation is. So I say my strongest suit is.
Coach, what would you say is the strongest aspect of Isaiah's game?
I think it starts with a person. He's an unbelievable teammate. He's always there for his team and always has his teammates' backs and is very unselfish and willing to do whatever the team needs him to do on that night. Obviously, he's very talented with the ball, can really score it. He's always willing to make the game-changing defensive plays for us. He's one of the best defensive players I've ever coached. Ultimately, he's a great teammate and a great person, and I just enjoy coaching him every single day.
Last season, you guys were 11-2 at home. Coach, I will start with you. What makes the home court advantage real at Viking Pavilion?
I think that one thing about it here is it gets really, really loud, and our fans are very passionate. They're very intense, and we like it like that. We want them to be very passionate about their team, and we've got great student athlete support here too. From the other sports, it's really like a family here at Portland State. We're in a big city, but at the same time, we're really like a family when it comes to the athletic department and support one another and support the other teams. I think that's got a lot to do with it. Our building structure might have a lot to do with it too, because like I said, it gets really loud in here. Our style of play and all that stuff, it all kind of just plays into it. So, we love playing at home.
Isaiah, the player perspective, what's your favorite part about playing in Viking Pavilion?
It's the atmosphere, all the energy is very infectious, and we have a lot of connections here and a lot of support, so it makes us want to go extra hard.
On the flip side, Coach, I'll go back to you. Where's the best away environment to play in?
Best away environment to play in. I mean, to be honest, I enjoy competing at all the places in the Big Sky. They're all unique and they're all different. That's one of the great things about the Big Sky is that every place is different. You know, you could be playing in a football dome, and then you could be playing in a gym that's packed. It feels like 10,000 people are in there. You could be playing in a beautiful basketball arena. There's definitely challenges to playing at every single place just because the Big Sky is so unique and different. So I actually really enjoy playing at all the places, including the conference tournament in Boise.
After the break, hear from the Portland State women's team.
In the heart of Montana's untamed wilderness, a legend is brewing. Jeremiah Johnson Brewing, the official beer of the Big Sky Conference. Brewed with the rugged spirit of the West. Jeremiah Johnson is simply a world-class, straightforward, no-nonsense beer. Do well.
Welcome back to Big Sky Tip-Off. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. Fourth-year head coach Chelsea Gregg has 8 new faces in her locker room this season. How was that team coming together? Let's bring in coach and veteran Rima Ogele now to find out. Rima, Coach Gregg, thank you so much for being with me today. Coach, I will go to you first. 8 new players on your roster this season. What are the benefits of having so many new ladies on your team?
Yeah, I think that it's just great new energy. I think they all came in hungry, ready to work. Um, this summer we really focused on just getting to know each other and just understanding our system offensively, defensively, but also just the strengths of what each players bring was so important.
Rima, you are one of the veterans in that locker room. How would you describe the dynamic with so many new faces?
I feel like it's a great vibe in the locker room. Like we all love each other on and off the court. Like how Coach said, it's new faces, new dynamic, new time for growth, and everybody's giving it their all. And it's just good vibe. I love our teammates, and everybody's willing to work, and we're pushing each other. So every day we leave practice, and we feel like we're getting better each day.
Rima, last year you averaged career bests in points, rebounds, and field goal percentages. What are your goals for this season?
I was just expanding my game, just getting better, like getting more rebounds and trying to average a double-double, just doing the little things more and just being better on my defense, trying not to get in much foul trouble this upcoming season. Averaging my double-double is my goal this year.
Coach, what are your goals for Rima for this season?
Like she said, she's been putting in the work. She can trust that preparation, that she's been in the gym, had a really strong spring and summer. And I think just saw a lot of maturity on and off the floor with her. And so we're excited. Like she said, she's got to continue to play with her feet and hands up and stay out of foul trouble. But we are excited about what she brings to the table. We know what she does well. She can score down low, but she's definitely expanded her game. And it's the last year, so let's go.
Rima, we put you on the spot talking about yourself and your goals. We're going to turn tables a little bit, flip it back to Coach. Rima, what are your coach's strengths and your goals for her this year?
It's like how Coach said, like this last year, I feel like I've been able to talk to her more, just talking about what we want for me and our team. And one thing about our coaches, they care about us. And I love that about this school, that they're willing to talk to us off the court or on the court. It's good communication, knowing that they want the best for me at the end of the day, that they're trying to put me on the best platform for me to succeed out in life. So it's just really comfortable, great conversations. And my goal for her is just hopefully get her a ring my last year.
Coach, what does it mean to you to have one of your players say that you're easy to talk to and approachable, and she wants to see the team win for you?
Yeah, no, that means a lot. I think that ultimately I'm in this profession to influence and change lives and give opportunities. We're super competitive and we want to win games. And ultimately, our goal, at least mine here at Portland State, is to be able to give a great student athlete experience and prepare them for the next stage of their life. So it means the world. It doesn't mean, and Rima knows this, right? We can care and can be competitive, compete. Those things can still exist. And so that's what we're looking for, right? We don't have to be jerks or other words to get our point across, but it's a high standard that we hold here. And I think that it's really built on that trust and the relationships that we build.
Rima, Coach just mentioned giving her team a good student athlete experience. Obviously, basketball is a huge part of your college career. What are some of the other things you've enjoyed outside of basketball while attending Portland State?
One thing my coach talks about, like one of our 4 hours, is being relational. And I feel like that's a big thing for us and our team. She makes sure that we're always if there's a student event going on campus, we're the first ones there. We're going to party on the park blocks, just showing our faces on campus, providing a lot of resources for us, making sure that we are at our best when we come in the gym. And if you're not feeling well, she provides us with other resources to reach out to other people. But just being relational is a big part that coach makes sure that we are doing off the court. But just providing resources for us is a big thing for coach.
What are the other R's, coach?
Yeah, well, we can always take a look. Yeah, they're on our wall, right? They're everywhere we go, but being relational, resilient, reliable, and ready. And that's something that, as I slid over to this head coaching chair, we came up with, and just really the pillars of our program.
Coming up, Coulter Nuanez and Krista Redpath join the show to give us a breakdown of Big Sky basketball. Welcome back to Big Sky Tip-Off. I'm Megan Robinson, joined now by two of our Big Sky basketball analysts, Krista Redpath and Coulter Nuanez. Guys, let's just get right to it. What were your initial thoughts on the Big Sky basketball preseason rankings? Coulter, I'll go to you first.
It's interesting when you analyze the men's league because there's so few returners these last couple of years. That's sort of a symptom of where we're at in Division I college basketball. But the one school that has had returners two off seasons in a row has been Montana, and I think that's reflected when you look at the polls. Last year they returned 6 guys, which is an unheard of number for mid-major teams, and this year they have a couple stalwarts coming back, led by Brandon Whitney, who's going to be sort of an unprecedented 5th-year starter there at Montana.
I wasn't shocked on the women's side. I really expected NAU to come out on top when you look at the fact that they played in the conference championship the last 3 years. They return a nucleus of players led by preseason MVP Sophie Glancy and also Leah Beatty at the guard position. Returning both the Moran sisters, and you mix in a Taylor Feldman and a Sanaya Neverson. And I look at NAU just having that nucleus back, but also just a year of maturity under their belt. And so I wasn't shocked by that. I look at the Montana schools battling out, both Montana State and Montana. When you take a look at Montana State, they also were faced with injuries last year, but this year, with the transfer of Esmeralda Morales, as well as Lexi Deedon possibly coming back from this ACL, they're loaded. They're locked and loaded.
Montana State men have reached 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments after winning 3 Big Sky tournament titles. Who would be the dark horse on the men's side to maybe dethrone the Bobcats?
First of all, I thought it was interesting that Montana State got so much love in the preseason polls because they do lose a lot. Of course, they return Brian Garacki, they return Brandon Walker, but Robert Ford was the heart and soul of that team. So he's certainly going to be tough to replace. I actually probably would have said that Montana State would have been one of my dark horses if they weren't so highly rated in the preseason polls, but they got a whole bunch of respect in the preseason polls. One team that Krista and I actually previewed on our series Big Sky Hoops Hits 2 weeks ago is Northern Arizona on the men's side. I think that they have more continuity than a lot of the other teams in the league. You look at Trenton McLaughlin, who's leading returning scorer in the league, really, really talented guy. You look at Carson Tout, he's my kind of player. I mean, he's the guy that could fit in on every single team in the Big Sky Conference. He doesn't need to shoot it. He doesn't need to dribble it. He just sets screens and rebounds and plays defense. Northern Arizona, I know, was picked in the middle of the league, but I think they could definitely make some noise. They proved it last year. I mean, they beat every good team in the league at least once. They just have to figure out a way to sweep some of those good teams to get into that top third of the league standings.
Coulter, you just brought up Trent McLaughlin from NAU. He, of course, is the preseason MVP in the Big Sky. Krista, you mentioned Sophie Clancy, the women's MVP. I'll start with you, Krista. Did the voters get it right choosing those 2 Lumberjacks as our preseason MVPs?
Well, I think they definitely did. When you look at these players and what they have contributed to the Big Sky, and of course I can allude to Sophie Glancy just being a force down low. I mean, she was a unanimous first team All Big Sky Conference selection last year. Her physical skills, strength, agility, quickness around the basket, she really separated herself.
On the men's side, I think you could have got a variety of different ways, but Trent McLaughlin's certainly a worthy candidate, no doubt. It's a great story there at NAU too. First of all, they've poured a bunch of money into athletics, which I think is benefiting them a bunch. You've seen both their basketball programs get better, but also the McLaughlin brothers are one of the great stories in the Big Sky, right? Like Alex McLaughlin's one of the best football players in the conference. Trent, his older brother, one of the best basketball players in the conference. And you have to think that both those guys probably had opportunities to go elsewhere. They didn't because they're there together. That's a cool story. So hopefully that resonates with people.
Krista and Culture, we know NAU women, Montana, and Montana State men are the favorites in both the coaches and the media polls to win the Big Sky Conference this year. Krista, I will go to you first. Who are you picking to win the Big Sky Conference? Give me both your men's and women's picks.
Well, I definitely had NAU to win, with the Montana schools really coming in hot, and on the men's side as well. I think Coach DeCure has done a fantastic job bringing in some really great transfers, but also building around Brandon Whitney. I mean, he's one of the only Grizz players to average double figures for all 4 of his years playing for Montana, just a veteran guard. I also think with the transfer of Patterson from Sac State at the guard position, Montana definitely has all the weapons to look like they are in the forefront to win the Big Sky.
I picked Montana State. And the reason I picked Montana State is I think that Tricia Binford has established herself as the most consistent and best coach in the conference. I thought last year was one of her best coaching jobs. I remember a post that they had on their Instagram page of their bench celebrating, and their bench was KJ Lamardo and Taylor Jansen and Lexi Deedon and all these all-league caliber players that were all hurt. And Tricia Binford got through that season, and they made a run at it. I mean, they were in the semifinals last year. They finished 4th, even though they had more injury bad luck than I've ever seen. You bring all that back, you bring in Esmeralda Morales, and I just think they have a chance to be a really special team. On the men's side, I voted for Montana just because they have the most returners, but I think it's so wide open with all these new players and so many new roster complexions throughout the league. We really just won't know. It's going to take till February until these teams really coalesce. They really start working the ball around and playing together. And look at what happened last year. I mean, Montana State was up and down all year long. But then they coalesced and they played so well down the stretch. And then they had one of the great tournament runs we have ever seen. So that's what it's going to take. Who comes together at the end? Who plays down the stretch? Travis DeCure has proven he can get his team to do that at Montana. Matt Logie, same thing at Montana State. And I think there's a couple other coaches like Eric Duft at Weber and Steve Smiley at Northern Colorado that have proven that as well. So who can get their team to come together? Even though I voted for Montana, I think the men's side is wide open.
Krista, Culture, less than 5 months, and we will see who is crowned a new champion up in Boise. Can't wait to see you both at that tournament. Still to come, what can fans expect from our championship week? Our friends from Visit Boise stop by to share all the city has to offer.
Yeah, definitely. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
All right. Thanks. All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Welcome back to Big Sky Basketball Tip-Off. I'm Megan Robinson. Our tournament is in Boise every year, so who better to have on the show than someone from Visit Boise, Lucas Gebhardt. The tournament has been in Boise since 2019. What impact does the Big Sky Basketball Tournament have on the city of Boise?
We think it's about a $6.5 million total economic impact to the city. And so that what we mean by that is all the hotel spending, all of the money that's spent at restaurants and shops and ticket sales and things like that. We think about 13,000 people or so go to the tournament. That includes local fans as well as fans that are traveling to Boise. And we think about 4,300 fans or so travel to Boise to watch this tournament from the various Big Sky markets. So it definitely has a huge impact for the city, and we're excited to have it once again in 25.
For those who have not been to Boise, like myself, what kinds of things can they expect to do there outside of the tournament?
The cool part about our tournament is all the fans can stay in our downtown hotels and be walking distance from the game. So if you fly, you don't have to rent a car. Our airport's 7 minutes. Our downtown is 7 minutes away from our airport. We have tons of great outdoor recreation activities. We have a 30-mile long bike trail that runs along our river, both sides of our river. We also have tons of hot springs that are within a couple hours drive of Boise. Some are under an hour from Boise. We have a great wine country that's about 45 minutes outside of downtown as well. So Idaho's got some really underrated wine that we definitely want people to check out if they end up coming here. We were rated by National Geographic as one of the best in the world destinations to visit in 2025. So that's something that we just got awarded. We're pretty excited about that. So we got lots of things to do here, whether it's our great restaurant scene or outdoor recreation or just the walkable and accessibility to all the things to do in our downtown.
One of the big things that people want to know when they go to a new city is, where are some of the restaurants that I must try?
Some of the best restaurants in town are some of our Basque restaurants. We have an entire block in our downtown that's dedicated to that Basque culture and that Basque heritage. We also have a restaurant in downtown called Kin that their chef just won a James Beard Award. That's the first James Beard Award that any restaurant or chef in our city has won. So that's something else that we're pretty excited about.
I can't wait to get up there and experience Boise in a few months for myself. And I appreciate you taking time to put a spotlight on your city.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for previewing the season with me on Big Sky Basketball Tip-Off presented by Idaho Central Credit Union. I'm your host, Megan Robinson, and I can't wait to see you all in Boise in March.